Hi, I'm Don Bonan from SampleLibraryReview.com. Today we're going to be checking out New Orleans Brass Band 2 by Insanity Samples. Insanity Samples have updated their already realistic and versatile brass library, adding 10,000 new samples and greatly increasing the library's depth with 2 new instruments with a baritone saxophone and marching-style percussion, further expanding the articulations and a ground-up remixing for the playback of the samples. Library downloads is 6 gigabytes, that's losslessly compressed from 12 gigabytes of content. They've updated the instrument to have the Insanity Samples overlay threshold system grid you can use now. There's 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, 1 Bari Sax, 1 sousaphone, and 1 percussion rig. You've got up to 9 core articulations. They're different depending on which instrument you have, and 3 microphone signals with a dynamic, a rhythm, and a pencil mic. There's up to 10 round robin with up to 4 dynamic layers. And of course, that's articulation dependent. The library normally sells for $197. Developers got it on a special intro price for $100 at the time of putting the video together. Now, my first impression on the library here is that the added instruments and expanded sample sets really bring more warmth, realism, and character to the collection. And looking under the hood at this developer demo for the instrument, you can see how the key switching free overlay threshold system allows you to quickly create realistic lines without worrying about switching your articulations via key switches. Basically, this overlay system allows you to trigger articulations based on velocity. And note that you always have access to key switches for all your articulations, so if you prefer to work on separate tracks for each articulation, you still have easy access to set up your template accordingly. I put together a quick demo, getting a feel for the library myself. And my main takeaway is that the quality and character of the samples are really great. They really capture that New Orleans brass band sound. Now, I've spent a lot of time walking the streets of New Orleans and seeing these brass bands pop up. I just love being down in that city. In the end, the realism here is going to come down to your programming and tweaking out your MIDI to get it to vibe and groove correctly, which I almost accomplished in my little demo. The overlay threshold gives you this grid as you have the ability to program which samples play back at given velocities. But some articulations have even more controls. You can select precise dynamics and lock those in for playback. I really love the mute articulation, such character in this collection. The crescendo articulations are a great addition as well, although they don't seem to align as you play across the keyboard. They've got 4 legato controls with adaptive for speed, velocity, and a fixed fast as well as the fixed slow legato. You've got a true legato option as well as expression controls that control your dynamics. The range of articulations is different for each of the NKIs, but they really play to the strengths of the individual instrument and add a lot of character. It comes with 6 built-in reverb options. But listening back to the dry signal, you can hear that the sample capturing is where the character of this library really lies. The bottom of the GUI shows you visually which mode you are in, whether you're key switching dependent, using the overlay threshold technology grid to have your articulations based on your velocities. And then you have 2 performance selections that memorize your selected articulations so you can pull those up at any time with key switches. I found the built-in reverbs to be really nice and smooth. And although you only have a handful of verbs to select from, with just a couple controls for size and amount of verb in the mix, you have a surprisingly wide variety of sounds you can get out of the effects. All the instruments give you access to 3 microphone signals. And I really loved how the ribbon mic gives you a more vintage sound, while the other 2 mic signals will easily let you get a more modern take that's very true to the instrument. I also appreciate how the new Percussion NKI has separate mic signal controls for each of the instrument groups, bass, snares, and cymbals. And I said it again, the included articulations with the update here are really what's making this collection shine for me. The developers streamlined the sample set in a way to garner the most character out of the instruments while keeping the collection very manageable, the footprint small, the engine works super smooth, and it's rarely pushing above 3% of my CPU per instrument instance. I love the improvements from the previous version with more flexibility for users, whether you're a key switch guy, an individual track guy, or you're excited about the grid overlay threshold system here. Velocity dependency lets you kind of play this naturally and get some really cool performances. It's a unique collection. It's closer to the sound of a real New Orleans brass band than I've heard from any other collection, offering a warm, jazzy sound to get that New Orleans brass band into your DAW and under your fingertips. I'm really loving the improvements they've done with the version 2 here. More flexibility than the original version. And I especially appreciate that developers gone back, rehashed it, and improved a library at a time when so few developers actually take the time to continue to improve their instruments. As you can tell, I'm digging the sound of it. I'm loving this brass band. I think it's an excellent update. And I've shared a lot of my thoughts along the way, but I'd love to hear yours. Please let me know what you think about New Orleans Brass Band 2. Did you have the original? Are you excited about this update to the original here? The expanded Bari and percussion, as well as the new overlay system? Please let me know in the comments below. Always love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't already, like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and head back around on Fridays for our weekly Deal Compressor show.